Hi, how are you?
Good. Something I've noticed about myself recently, and I don't know if I've never been the type of person. I know there's a lot of people out there. I don't know if you're this way. We've never talked about it, that do a lot of like skincare, like
Um,
anti-aging and like all this stuff. Like I lotion, obviously. I keep myself hydrated, but I don't do like anything crazy.
I'm not like a fanatic about it, but with that whole like Lime Life stuff, like
Mhm.
I've still like done it and like I'll do lotion and oil at night or like I'll always take makeup off if I put makeup on, which is rare. Like I won't
Yeah.
sleep with makeup on. So, and then I do have like masks. I do from time to time. But again, very like sporadic and
Yeah.
not like every night religiously.
That's still I feel like relatively minimal to like what some people do.
Mhm.
But I
Yes.
just feel like I'm at the point of my life where like I can really notice my eye crinkles and my forehead crinkles. Which I like sit there and I'm like, I'm not mad. Like I'm not mad that I can like notice aging on myself. I think that's such like a blessing that I get to grow older and it's really not something I'm like concerned about. But sometimes I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, oh my God,
Like I look different.
I'm getting older.
Oh my gosh, I was going through old pictures this weekend and I like saw some of like Austin and I from probably 10 years ago at this point. Oh
Mhm.
my god. And I was like, look how skinny we were.
Yeah,
Like we
I know.
look unhealthily skinny. And now, like I was like, what in the world? Like he was legit like bones and then I was bones too and I'm like, I'm just going to save these so we can remember how skinny we were.
I know. I know the same when I look back at me and Rob too. I'm like, wow, we were so little. So much has changed. Ah.
So,
I had a appointment with the midwife last week,
is
and
that
it
so?
was
Wait, sorry.
mhm.
So, in your doctor's groups, you have a midwife option, or this is separate
So
from your doctor group?
nope, it's my doctor. So I'm in
Okay.
the MFM, but I see a midwife, and it's not always the same midwife. But this whole pregnancy, I've been seeing a midwife, which has been really nice.
Okay.
Uh, but again, I'm not like attached to one person. I'm just kind of seeing whoever is on call. But it's always been a midwife, which is I think better. I like it better than having an OBGYN, to be honest. I feel like I've gotten a lot more information. They've spent a lot more time with me and like they've answered my question. It's just been a different experience than having an OBGYN or medical or MD or whoever I was seeing last time. But the one that I saw last visit, I brought in like a ton of VBAC questions and like unmedicated questions because I want to try to go unmedicated.
Mhm.
And she gave me some really good advice. One of the things she basically told me was that if I truly want to go unmedicated and have a successful like VBAC unmedicated. I think VBAC percentages increase in general if you do this, but also so does being able to go through your whole pregnancy or labor
Mhm.
unmedicated is getting a doula. She's like, that's the best bang for your buck. It's the best thing you can do for yourself. And so I've been trying to look them up and they're just not cheap. And of course, they're not covered by insurance. So,
How expensive are you finding? Because as soon as you said this, I had a brochure that my grandma had given me for a doula service, like with the last
mhm,
pregnancy, but it was like I was like in February, like it was like 3 or 4 weeks before I was giving birth.
yeah.
But I'm seeing them around like 1,600 to 2,000. Is that what you're seeing?
Yeah, I found I think like 3 on the lower end for 1,200, which those are the ones I bookmarked because I said to Rob like, "Let me just think about this. Give me the weekend to think about this." Now it's the weekend's over and I still haven't decided. I might just reach out to see availability
Hmm.
or like just to talk to them because I think you can get a free consultation. So I might just do that and then decide. But I could use my wellness money for next year. So then I would only have to pay a certain amount out of pocket, which I think would be okay. It's just it's hard to like for me to spend that money on myself. I can spend so much money on other people and even like I was listening to a podcast about birth and he was like basically saying not everybody doesn't have the means to do this, but he was like, think about when you get married or when you have a big event in your life, you are spending the money to get the venue, to get the photographer, to like do all these things to have it the way you want. He's like, but when we go into birth, we're kind of just doing what we're able to with insurance because it costs so much money. But like if that's really important to you, this is something you would put money into. And I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah, that is true. It's just it's a hard thing to do. So
Well, after you said that, I was researching too, and that's basically like what they were saying. If you want to
mhm,
go through an unmedicated birth, or like the best thing to do is to have a doula.
yeah, yeah. So I think I want one. I don't know. It's just so hard. It's such a hard time of year. So
It is hard
contemplating it.
because it's
Yeah.
like, well, I mean, also because you have Eleanor's birthday. If it was like Eleanor's
hmm
birthday was in June, it might be different, but
Right.
it's like you just recover from the holidays, you have her birthday, and then
hmm
you're like, okay, baby.
Yeah.
So,
And the newborn pictures. And then, it just is a
yeah.
lot. But I think
Shoot,
it
I
might be
gotta do.
worth it.
You just remind me, I gotta figure out newborn
Oh,
pictures.
yeah. Another thing the midwife said, which I thought was really interesting, because again, we were on the topic of like going unmedicated. She had mentioned putting together what she called a jump pack. And she was like, this is where you're going to put in your, your TENS machine, your comb. She's like, get a electric candle. She's like, get some hard candy, some mints, just things to help you through the moment. And one of the tips she had suggested was getting note cards, and on your note cards, writing different positions or different things you can do in the moment that you can't. She's like, when you are in labor and in so much pain, you can't think of that stuff. So she was
Mhm.
like, write it all down on these note cards, like just pull one out and like see what you can do to just like change things up in the moment. And I just really like that. So I wanted to share because I
Yeah,
bought
no,
some
that's a
cards this weekend. Yeah.
really cool thought process because I'm like, excuse me, seeing all these videos and they're like, okay, go in the shower, sit on the ball, sit on the toilet, sit on the thing. But it's like, I'm not going to remember all that. Like,
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm like,
I'm
I just
like
want to lay in bed. I'm
trying.
in pain.
Yes. Another thing she said, which was interesting, because I was like, if for some reason I cave and I do get the epidural, like I'm not going to be super hard on myself if that's the case. But I was like, the one thing I want most in this pregnancy is like, or labor experience is movement. And she was like, you can also give birth. You don't have to be on your back if you have an epidural. And I was like, you don't? She's like, yeah, you're still kind of like stuck to the bed, but you can be on all fours. You can have people help you in different positions. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I still like prefer being, because I was like, what if I want to be in the shower? What if I want to be in the bath? I was like, is that allowed? And she said, yeah. She's like, it can depend on like the provider on. They might allow you to labor like in the bathtub as long as possible, but then move you to the bed for the final push. But she's like, and then some will allow you to do it right in the bath. She's like, it really kind of depends. But um, yeah, I just thought that was interesting. I thought it was a really good conversation. So I feel good.
Well, and I'm thinking about this, like now that you say that, back to my epidural, because my epidural was different from yours because you were like completely numb because
Yeah.
they had to get in there, cut you
hmm
open, not get in there, cut you open. And like I could still move my left leg. Like I could still
mm,
move it, but I couldn't move my right leg because it was like messed up. It was like stronger on my right side.
yeah.
So once they turned it down, then it was a little bit better. But at that point, it was like he was already coming out. So
Right. Yeah.
yeah. But also, there was something else I was going to say about that epidural. Oh, no. So I'm thinking because this is both of our second babies and everything I
hmm
read, like the babies come faster each time. Like I'm almost thinking like if we both go into labor naturally and don't get induced, like our babies might be coming super fast where we're like, okay, these don't feel as bad as Pitocin
hmm
contractions. And then we go to the hospital and we're probably like, okay, we're ready to push them out.
Right, right. Yeah, labor at home as much as possible and then go. I wonder if that's the case, because I was trying to look that up for VBAC too, because I've never had a vaginal birth, so I didn't know if that was like also the same. Does it come as quickly, even though I didn't? I don't know.
Hmm.
I'll have to look into
Yeah.
that.
Well, I just know like once it got like super strong pain, it like moved a lot faster.
Yeah.
Like once they got super intense, it moved so fast.
hmm
So Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just wanted to share that. I thought that was interesting. But what's going
Very
on with you?
interesting. I think I need to take notes because I need to do that.
Yeah.
The
The
card.
cards. Hmm.
Okay. Well, I wanted to tell you that speaking, you just reminded me of this while we were talking about birth and everything. But I am with a different practice this time, and it's just such a different experience. And I love it. It's not like a midwife. They don't have midwives, but yeah, my doctor, I was like, oh, like, hey, first time I ever met this doctor because I've been with, a different one every time.
Hmm.
And I'm like, hey, like, I'm having this like tailbone situation, just being pregnant. She's like, oh, let's get you on PT. Like, I'd rather you start doing that now than waiting until postpartum and it get worse.
Yeah.
And then I was like asking about the fresh test because I wanted to do that for my glucose test at my next appointment. And I had asked about that with Axel, and I was basically just told, no, I have to use whatever's there.
I
And
remember
she's like, oh,
that.
yeah, you can use that. Just order it. Do you need me to tell you where to order it from? Like, just bring it. You'll mix it here, blah, blah, blah. And it's just such a different atmosphere and like
Yeah.
feeling than I had with the last one. Like, I definitely felt
Hmm.
like I'm a number last time. So
Right. Yeah. Oh,
I'm
that's
just
good.
excited
That's
that the
exciting.
experience
Yeah.
is different.
Yeah. And you already took it once, so I can't imagine anything's really changed.
No, no, and I'm just excited that I can actually use the fresh test.
So if you fail that, do you have to do like their normal 3 hour?
Yeah, I'll probably have to do the 3 hour.
Yeah.
But there's a fresh test for the 3 hour.
Oh, there is? Oh, okay.
Mhm. Oh, I need to call about that. But yeah, because I just want to make sure my milligrams are right. There's like 3 different milligram options
Mm,
that you can choose from. And I want to make sure I'm buying the 1 hour one.
yeah.
And then we put up our Christmas tree. We
Yay.
put up some Christmas decorations, not anything crazy, but again, I don't have that many things either. We did get a new Christmas tree because they were half off at Target,
Nice.
but I can't get the freaking cat away from it. Why do the cats want to be in the tree? Like, can they just get away? Like, my cat just wants to eat it, and then he goes and vomits
Of course.
the tree up. Yeah.
Which cat?
Shadow, the bad
Oh.
one.
Mhm.
Which Axel started calling him Babbo now because we call him Baddo all the time, and he's like, Babbo. But also, I was reading a book, and Axel likes those like flat books, and I
Mhm.
did all the Santa Christmas theme ones out right now. And we opened to Santa and he goes, "Ho, ho, ho." I'm like, "Where did you
Oh,
learn that?"
yeah,
Like, I didn't
right?
even know you knew that.
Isn't it so funny? I love that so much. That was like when we were in Target, we found a reindeer hat and we put it on Eleanor and she's like, "I'm a reindeer." I'm like, "I don't even know how many times I've said reindeer to you." Like, where did you the
Yeah,
heck?
so we just walk around the house, we see the stockings, and we go, "Ho, ho, ho."
It's so cute.
No, yeah, that's what's going on with me. That is the update over here.
Well, awesome. Okay, let's jump into our episode. Welcome, everybody, to the Mom Era podcast. My name is Megan.
And I'm Alyssa.
Today, we're reflecting on what our little ones teach us about life. So, although we're supposed to be the ones guiding them, if we're honest, there's a lot that they teach us too.
Mhm. Yeah, I think motherhood has changed us in so many unexpected ways. So, whether it's learning to slow down and be present, discovering how to bounce back from a rough moment, or just being reminded to laugh at the simple things, I think they just have this incredible way of showing us what really matters in life.
Okay, well, let's dive in and chat about some of the surprising, funny, and touching lessons our toddlers have taught us. I think there's so many changes that happen. We talk about this all the time on the podcast once you become a parent, a mother. And I think this is one of the biggest ones for me. It's just all the lessons that I'm learning from her. Or I don't even want to say lessons necessarily, but it's like I'm relearning how to do different things because I feel like as an adult, you just continue to grow and everything becomes more fast paced and you're rewarded for it being so quick and fast paced and
Hmm.
that you just kind of forget to do things like slow down or letting go of perfection and all these things, you know what I mean? So it's just, I think it's been a huge eye opener, and it's also been difficult to like kind of take a step back in a lot of those respects.
Yeah, no, I agree. I feel like so much of my life was just like go, 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 and like do this. And, we have to plan everything and have something going on every weekend. And now it's like, okay, wait, like,
Hmm.
I just don't want to do anything. I just want
Yeah,
to be at home with my toddler.
I know. Yeah. So, we want to talk through some of the big lessons we've learned from our toddlers or our tiny teachers, as we like to call them. I think the biggest one that I am relearning is how to slow down and live in the moment. So, toddlers are masters at being fully present, which has inspired us to stop rushing, savor those small moments. As adults, it's really easy to get bogged down in our to do lists, our schedules, our distractions, but our toddlers remind us that sometimes the most meaningful moments are the ones right in front of us. They have a knack for focusing intently on whatever has their attention. They're not thinking about what comes next, they're just fully engaged in the now. And I just think that's such a powerful lesson, just to be super present and engaged, not thinking of the next 20 things down the line. Now, as mothers, it's hard to not do that, even though we're learning this lesson. But yeah, how have you seen this with Axel?
Yeah. No, I've seen it probably in a few different ways, but the two I can think of is I don't know why or where we came up with this, but he does this thing where, like, I legit just sit on the ground and he wants to go like steps back and then get all excited until I say one, two, three, or ready, set, go. And then he just runs, like laughing,
Mhm.
smiling, and hugs me. And he laughs every time. And it's just like, we just keep doing it for like 20 minutes. Like, it's
Mhm.
so fun and it's so cool to him just hugging me. And so I literally every day just make time to do that. But
Mhm.
also like the way, and I think he's just Austin's child, but the way that he looks at cars. Like he will
Yeah.
take a car and literally like open the door and look at it, look at the rim, look look in it. Like I'm and he'll just like drive it and watch it drive on the ground. I'm like this would be so boring, but he's finding so much joy in just this car. And, like, even
Yeah.
going out in public, he'll just point to a car's tire. Like, that's something, like, we don't ever pay attention to, like,
Mhm.
the tire on a car. So that's I feel like ways that Axel always is like, "Let's just, be in the moment. Let's let's pay attention to
Mhm.
these things."
Yeah. For me, like, I notice this a lot because I'm like a go, go, go type of person. And like sometimes that means I'm missing out on the environment around me because I'm just like thinking about the thing I'm trying to accomplish, right? Or getting out the door or whatever. And I think a good example of this is like going on a walk or a hike with Eleanor, right?
Mhm.
So to me, it's like, oh, we're walking and we're enjoying the environment. But to Eleanor, it's like we're walking and stopping and looking at that tree. And then we're looking at that flower. And then we're picking up the leaves. And we're just like really slowing down and like intently taking in the environment.
Mhm.
And like that to me has been the biggest lesson, to not be like, okay, not to rush her and be like, okay, Eleanor, let's keep going. Because what is the point of that, right? Like
Yeah.
she's learning and engaging in all those things around her. But in my head, I'm like, oh, we're walking, but now we're stopped for 10 minutes. You know what I mean? So it's like relearning that there's joy in just slowing down and taking in everything around, especially as like a kid. And I've been enjoying it too. It's like you pick up a leaf, I'm like, wow, this is a cool leaf. I would never have seen that leaf if we didn't stop and like look
Mhm.
around. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think and I noticed this at daycare because the little girls were always picking up the leaves and showing me the leaves and the colors.
Mm-hmm.
Axel, like, I feel like Axel does it a little differently, like, he's not like, if we go on a walk, we are not, like, looking at the leaves and the grass and things, but we're walking to, like, the car or we're
Mm.
walking like up and down the curb or things like that. So he's doing it in different ways, which is
Yeah.
interesting. But yeah, it's just like ways I wouldn't think because I'd be like, "Oh,
Mhm.
let's look at the colors and explore the thing," because I'm a girl. But
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, or sometimes I'm like, "Oh, we gotta get out of the house," but then Eleanor's really, like, doing something cute, and Rob's like, "Why are you rushing this moment? Like, we don't need to rush this moment, you know? We don't need to get to the store right now." Those
mhm,
pieces are really hard for me, so
yeah, yeah. You're like, okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, Axel will just be like, out-eyed. I'm like, okay,
Mhm.
I hate to like tell you we're not going outside, we're going in the car, but
I know.
yeah. Our toddlers have also taught us resilience and letting go of perfection, which is an important thing that we need to relearn. Um,
Yeah.
Toddlers don't hold grudges. They fall, get frustrated, cry, and then bounce back, often within seconds. They show us that perfection isn't the goal, it's just trying, learning, growing. And let's be honest, we adults could use a little bit more of that resilience in our lives.
Mhm.
I think, unlike adults, toddlers don't yet have the social conditioning that makes them fear failure. So they try, they fail, try again. They don't really dwell on mistakes the way adults do and how they would impact the adult. And then they're just kind of very adaptable. They get frustrated, but like rarely let that set them back. And their resilience comes from a simple, natural desire to explore, learn, and grow. I think because they're just like learning their environment, they're learning
Mhm.
all about this world and everything. Do you have an example
Yeah, I mean, we have a
as to
lot
what's
of
this?
these. I mean, I think just the resilience of for kids, right? You
Mhm.
see Eleanor fall down and she might get frustrated, she might cry, but she's like bounced back, right? In like a second. And she might have a tantrum and then it just be over and kind of forgotten about in the next minute. And she's like really enjoying what she's like doing. Or if she makes a mistake and she can't do something, she's just not dwelling on it. And
Mhm.
I think over the years have become very like risk adverse myself, and I have a fear of even like trying things sometimes because I feel like I might not even succeed, but like it's okay to fail. Like I think that's what I'm relearning, that it's okay to like try new things and not be good at them. But as like
Mhm.
adults, I feel like we're conditioned to be good at everything to a certain standard or it's like not worth our time. And I'm like relearning that it's okay to like retry things. There's a lot of things in my life and just with my family and Rob and these goals that we want to do, but I have a lot of fears that like hold me back. Like we've talked about, how I worked at Custard
Mhm.
for a long time. Like we've talked about so many times like opening up some type of like custard shop, or we've talked about, you know, moving down south, or we've talked about all these different things that we would really enjoy doing, but I have so much fear and that it like holds me back from even taking the first step of like researching and looking into, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah, it's like letting go of that stability and
right.
like the unknown. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, as adults, we have a lot more consequences with some of the risks we take and the things we do and when we fail. But I think at the same time, like if you have a good support system and people behind you, like you can still try
Yeah.
things. What about you?
I feel this too because I always felt like we needed to be in the perfect house and have the perfect amount of money
Hmm.
saved and have the kid then and then everything would just be perfect, you know? And I
Right.
think a lot of like with having Axel, like I let go of a lot of that perfection because it's like we can do it while we have a kid. We can do it now. We can, try. And if it doesn't work, we can try something else. And I think a lot of that I really had to go through this past year because it was like,
Yeah.
okay, finding a new job, being a stay at home mom, like just letting go of like what my perfect career would
Hmm.
look like, letting go of what my perfect mom life would look like, and
Yeah.
trying all these different things to find the perfect balance. So, I think that was very hard. And like a challenge because that's just not normally how my brain works. But
Yeah. Same.
I feel like Axel always like helped to remind me that like we're just ebb and flowing and like we are growing together.
Mhm.
I also think like the things that he does just, and I was talking about it with the daycare lady today. I'm like, he would literally just like stood up on top of like the Christmas tree box,
Mhm.
falls down, like full on, just like falls face down, just gets right back up. Like
Yeah.
not even anything. Like, and I'm like, does that hurt? Like, are you in pain?
Uh,
Headbutts me in the head. Goes to headbutt me again. Like I don't. Like, yeah. Like even just the things that he tries to do, stand on, sit on. Yeah.
mhm.
Just it's constant.
Yeah. Yeah, it's and I think too a lot of the learning comes from not even just seeing how they're so resilient, it's just the fact that as parents we have to learn to let go of that perfection in so many ways to just be successful as parents or like somewhat successful as parents. So
Hmm.
it's not even just like learning from them necessarily, but like to survive, you kind of have to learn to go with the flow a little bit.
Yeah, and we both are not go with the flow people.
No, no, we're not. So it's been
So
pushing us
it's
both.
been
I
a
think we've
learning
been
curve.
doing so good though. Both of
Yeah.
us have. Another learning is curiosity and seeing the world of wonder. So, toddlers constantly explore, they ask questions, they seek to understand their world, and they really find joy in such simple things. While as adults, we often look for happiness in our big achievements or significant milestones that we have. Toddlers often show us that joy can be found in a splash of water, uh, with a breeze, or a funny sound.
Yes.
Toddlers have the incredible ability to see the world with fresh eyes, like finding magic in things adults often overlook, whether it's a pile of leaves, like I had mentioned earlier, or a puddle, or a new animal at the park. Everything is exciting and new to them, and they take each moment as it comes. So they're not comparing it to something else or worrying about what's next. It really frees them to find contentment in really small experiences.
Hmm. Yeah, we went to Meyer this weekend, which we don't normally go to Meyer. But anyway, we went to Meyer because we had a gift card and we ended up getting like some of Axel's Christmas gifts there.
Hmm.
And so I'm like checking out. Axel just wants to be out of the cart, pushing the cart, walking around. So I'm like, okay, Austin, you go on him. I'll check out. He finds Sandy, the horse, and wants to ride the horse. He just keeps staring at it. Nay, nay, nay. So he gets on the horse, and Austin came over. He's like, "Do you have a penny?" He wants to go on the horse. I'm like, "Okay, put him on the horse." And Austin had showed me a video because I was cashing out that, like, and I'll send it to you too. But basically, like, he got on the horse and he was so excited and he was just screaming "nay!" And then once it started moving, he's like, "No, no, 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 no!" And he like was hanging on to like the handle, and like one one left hand went up and just signed all done.
He's like,
But it's like he was so excited about the one penny horse, like that was
Mhm.
like so cool to him. And then we have this little Christmas tree that he got last year, put it in his room,
Mhm.
and like I plugged it in or whatever. And he walked in, and again, I've seen it already. He saw it last year, but he walked in his room, he goes, "Wow."
Oh
Like,
my
he was
gosh.
so excited about it, and now we just take the ornaments off, and he likes to hang on to them, but, like, it was just so cool because, like, this is something, like, I'm like, "Oh, look," like, and I think it makes it more fun, like, this season and the
Mhm.
things that we do because they recognize and, like, get so excited and so curious about things.
Mhm. Yeah, that makes me think of two stories. So the first is on election day. So Rob and I always vote in person. I don't know. I just don't ever do mail in ballots. But
Mhm.
we went to go vote, and obviously we had to bring Eleanor. So we were like, okay, Ellen, we're gonna go voting. And she's like, yay, voting. And she's like so excited to go voting. She doesn't know what it is, obviously, but she's like so excited and like curious or whatever. So then we get there, and obviously it's like me and Rob sitting in those little cubicle things, like whatever. And she was just like, all done. Like, I don't like this. I'm ready to go.
Oh my gosh.
So I thought that was really funny. But another like thing that comes to mind with like the curiosity and seeing the world of wonder and just finding joy in such small things. Like the other day, what did she have that we were? Oh, so she had a. Um, we still sometimes buy those like teething crackers. They're just
Mhm.
easy to like grab and go, and she still likes them, so we still buy them. The other day she was having a snack, and I think I'd given her a fruit cup. And then we also gave her some of those crackers, but she likes to eat her fruit cup, drink the juice, and then she likes to put water in the bowl and drink the water and blow bubbles in the water, whatever. So we usually allow her to do that. But she had a bowl of water with the cracker, and she was so curious. She like wanted to put the cracker in, and I was like, it's gonna like melt and get mushy if you put it in there. You can try, like you just
Mhm.
won't be able to eat it anymore. And she like puts it in there, and she was so curious, and she's like, it's mushy, and she's like pulling it out and like squeezing it because it became a really weird texture. But she was just so enthralled. We probably played in that water for a good 45 minutes with just the cracker. I think she also put some goldfish in there and was watching it get mushy. And then, like, it was
Oh my
just,
gosh.
like,
Yeah.
I sometimes think of, that I need to buy her a new toy or something to like get re-engaged and doing something for a long period of time. But truly, like, they're so curious in how things work. You could give them household utensils or a bowl of water, and it's like the
Yeah,
best
super
thing.
cool. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I went to a baby shower yesterday and I brought home a cupcake. Well, I brought
Mhm.
home 3 cupcakes because they were so good.
Nice.
But I brought home the cupcake and he was eating lunch, so he had just finished, so I gave him his cupcake.
Mhm.
And he had, like, the biggest smile on his face, and he had the cupcake, and he was just, like, eating it, and, there's crumbs just everywhere, and I'm just like, "Okay, it's fine." And
Mhm.
he finishes it, and he just goes, "More, more, more," and I'm like, "But buddy, like, we can't keep having more, like, it's not, like, significant anymore if we just keep eating cupcakes all day long."
Yeah.
But,
You'd have a
yeah,
sugar crash.
so he was really excited. But, yeah,
That's
like, that's something, like, I'm like, "Oh, I'll just bring one home just in case someone
Mhm.
wants one," and that probably made his day.
Yeah.
So,
Aw.
another lesson from our tiny toddler are or is if there's one area where toddlers are our greatest teachers, it's their capacity for love and unapologetically being themselves. I think we're seeing this a lot now because they're starting to express their emotions,
Yeah.
their personality is really coming out, even if they're happy, sad, angry. But they also love deeply and openly without hesitation or fear of rejection. So toddlers give love in the most genuine way, whether they're hugging a family member, cuddling up to a toy, or reaching out to hold your hand. Their love is simple, free of expectations and conditions. And this is one I actually wanted to bring up to you because I wanted to see
Mhm.
your opinion on something too. But
Yeah.
so, for example, I see this a lot. Like, Axel is a very loving boy.
Mhm.
Like, he will take his puppy and kiss his puppy, or
Yeah.
you'll see him in his crib, like, trying to give his milk to his giraffe. Like, he's always trying to, like, take care of his stuffed animals, or if he has, like, bath toys, they're, like, kissing, or he's kissing them.
Mhm.
So he's, like, sharing that love, and that's the way that he shares love, or he'll just come up and randomly just kiss me all the time.
Mhm.
So I love it. I love it. I love it.
I know, it's so cute.
But I was thinking about this, and like, he does this a lot with, like, family members when he wants to, right? Like, he'll give a hug or a kiss or something like that. But I was also seeing this thing where, someone was saying that they don't like, if you're saying, "Okay, say goodbye to grandma," like, give grandma a hug or give grandma a kiss, and they don't want to, they don't, like, force their child to do that because
Mhm.
they just don't feel comfortable or don't want to, or they're
Right.
busy playing, right? They're not paying attention. So, from a perspective of respect your grandparent, in my point of view, right? Like you should at least acknowledge and say goodbye, or like hug them or kiss, whatever you want to do to say goodbye, or
Mhm.
whoever it is. I'm just using grandparent in this example. But also, where's that line where you're like, forcing it? Like you say it and then they have to say bye, or you just, if they don't kiss or they don't say bye or they don't
Mhm.
hug, like do you just ignore it so that you're not like forcing that on them too? Like, where do you draw that line?
Yeah.
So I'm curious
Yeah,
to see what you guys do.
I think this is a really important conversation because to me, I would never force Eleanor to give affection in any way. So kissing,
Mhm,
hugging, like if she says no, that's her boundary. But I agree with you, like acknowledging that the parents or grandparents or whoever it is are leaving is important. So making sure she's not engaged in a toy, like pulling her away. If she doesn't want to hug, she can wave, right? So that isn't crossing any type of like bodily boundary, in my opinion, just making them
mhm,
acknowledge that they're leaving and waving. But I would never say, you have to kiss grandma. If she was like saying no, or you have to hug grandma, like that is her choice. And obviously she's a toddler and she doesn't really understand that now, but like instilling that in her, that that is always going to be her choice, is like really important to me. But
mhm.
that's kind of like how we do it.
Yeah, and I guess, are you guys typically a normal, like, do you always hug goodbye? Do you
We
always
do, yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
So, like, same with us, like, we're always, like, hugging goodbye. We're not like a family that just says bye and doesn't hug each other.
Right.
So, that's also, like, where it's become such a habit where it's like, "Okay, give grandma a hug." You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um, but I have noticed where I'm like, "Okay," like, if they're saying, like, if grandma's saying, "Give me a hug," and he's not doing it, like, I'm
Hmm.
not forced, like, I'm not saying, like, "You need to give grandma a hug,"
Right.
because I don't, like, if he doesn't want to, he doesn't want to.
Hmm.
But that was just something that came to my mind because he's such a loving person that when he doesn't wanna do it, like, I don't force it either. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it is one of those things, and I think it probably becomes natural to just do because we always do it as a family.
Yeah.
But I have had like, the thing is, Eleanor can be so weird. Like, I think she just tries to stall at bedtime. Well, Rob will be like, "Okay, give me a hug and kiss," and she'll be like playing. It's like a game with them, right? It's
Yeah.
become this game where he, tries to get a hug from her, and she's like a sack of potatoes. That's what we call it. So it's like, a game at that point. But then if he doesn't do it, we start to go upstairs because sometimes she'll be like, "No, no, no, no." I'm like, "Okay, well then we're gonna go upstairs," and then she's like, "Da da da da," So it's like
Mhm.
we're like running into that right now because it's hard to like set that boundary. She wants to play, but to me it's like you're saying no.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, you have to, like, and you have to ebb and flow and just kinda
Hmm.
adapt with their personality when they are playing the game, and you wanna set that respect in the household, or
Yeah.
they really just don't have a want to, and I'm
Yeah.
not gonna make them to. But yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is my favorite too, like just how like loving. And it's so interesting because I think I've talked about this a lot previously, that like as an infant, Eleanor wasn't super affectionate in any way. It's not like she wouldn't necessarily stay in her arms when she became mobile, and she was kind of like she wanted to be near you so you knew
Mhm.
that she loved you. But as she's become more of a toddler, she'll just run to you and hug your legs, and like and she's hugging her animals. So I'm definitely seeing it a lot more as she's gotten older.
Mhm.
And just I never have to like question, right? If my child loves me, and I hope she feels the same to me. But I think it's a nice reminder to other people in my life, like even just to Rob, like being able to show him those little moments throughout the day, which as an adult you forget to do.
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, that's something too, like, it almost reminds you to show it in your relationship with your significant other,
Hmm.
because Axel will literally come up to us, and if we're standing anywhere remotely close to each other, he will grab Austin's leg, grab my leg, and pull us together. And I'm like, "Okay." Like, and so, like,
Yeah.
we're literally, like, toppling over each other.
Isn't that so cute? There was one day Eleanor was sitting in her seat and Rob and I like had hugged. And then she
Mhm.
looked at us. She's like, again. Really? So we hug again. And then we stopped and she's like, again. I'm like, okay. But it's good for them to see like their, toddlers, it's good for them to see their parents also being affectionate and showing love
Mhm.
and showing healthy ways to have a relationship and that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah, he gets so excited when we're, like, hugging or
Isn't
whatever,
that so
and then he
funny?
wants to, like, get it we call it, like, the family hug, and we all 3 hug. Yeah, it's
So
fun.
cute. So, the last lesson we want to talk about today, even though there's so many others, is just adaptability and letting go of control. I think this is a big piece for both of us.
Mhm.
So, toddlers, I mean, they're changing rapidly from just being born to two. It's so crazy how much they change. And it really requires us as parents to constantly adapt as well and adjust our routines and our expectations. So, this has taught us flexibility and the ability to pivot when things change unexpectedly, which has been a hard lesson for two hardcore planners like ourselves.
Yes. Literally very hard.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I mean, for adults and, for us in particular, letting go of the need to have control all the time, it can be very freeing. Like when I am like, okay, I'm not going to try to control this moment, I do feel so much better, like just taking
Mhm.
things in as they come. So when parents realize they can't control everything, especially within parenting, they can focus on adapting to the situation, responding with patience, and embrace that uncertainty. I think if we have expectations going into every moment, it can cause us to be unregulated. So if we go somewhere and our kid's having a breakdown and it wasn't what we expected, like it is harder for us to take that moment in with patience and respond accordingly. You could be like, oh, I'm so mad. I just wanted to run into the store and then get out. And now we're having a tantrum. And then it just kind of like adds to the chaos. So,
Mhm.
yeah, that adaptability and letting go of control is like a huge lesson. I think this is like one of the biggest ones for me.
I think this is, yeah, a big one for me too. I think Austin has always shown or reacted in a way to me that has helped me, like, lose some control so that I
Hmm.
can, like, adapt, and I think that that's allowed me to learn a lot of adaptability as an adult, although vice versa, I make sure he has, like, a schedule and a plan, and he
Yeah.
he's learned that. But, like, I think one of the big things for me, and it's still, like, hard, is this whole, like, routine that we've set in our lives with Axel and Austin and, like, the toddler, and I think Axel reminds me of this sometimes, but, like, I have his nap schedule, I have his sleep schedule. This is our plan, this is to a T. When it doesn't go the way I want it to go, it
Hmm.
bothers me. And it's very hard to just, like, okay, adapt. And there's so many people that just, like, "Oh, the baby just, like, took a nap while we were at the restaurant," or their
Hmm.
nap was in the car, or they'll just take a nap later, or they're going to bed at, like, 9 or 10 o'clock. Like, my child goes to bed at 7. Like,
Right.
like, I cannot, like, we don't function well if he doesn't have this schedule, and he's very much a routine baby, but in times where we've had to take an extra nap so he can stay up late, or he doesn't have a nap and he stays up late, or he naps in the car, it's always been okay, and we've always adjusted, and he's always shown me, like, it's okay to be out late, or
Hmm.
on special occasions or things like that. And I think that's was really hard for me in the beginning, to, like, adjust to and adapt to, because I was like, nope, the baby needs to be sleeping right now.
Hmm.
So I think
Yeah.
with the second baby there will be a lot of adaptability and letting go of that schedule and that control. um I think it will be good that Axel's still a routine baby, because then this baby won't really affect him as much.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be a learning curve with that one, because that one's just gonna have to nap on the go. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel the same about nap. Like we've always been on a schedule also, which I think a schedule is great. I think it's so great for babies, and we'll probably put baby number 2 on a schedule. But what my hope is that baby number 2 can be more adaptable in where they sleep.
Mhm.
Eleanor was really good. She would sleep downstairs, but I think just as we've entered more toddlerhood, it's like car or uh, crib, right? And those are
Yeah.
like the two places. We can sometimes get her down when we're in at the parents in a pack and play, but it just is more difficult. But I think same as you, we were like super strict in the beginning with naps and everything. And for example, this whole weekend, she didn't go down to for her first nap until 2, like both days. Because the first day we went
Wait, first
to,
nap, does she still have 2 naps?
oh, did I say first nap? No, no,
Yeah.
she
No,
only has
her
one.
nap.
She
Yeah.
just didn't go down to her nap until 2. Yeah. So, the first day we went to the gym and then we went to Target after. So by the time we got home at 8, she was down at 2. And then, on Sunday she had swim and then they went to Costco and then home. And then by the time she ate it was 2, so, but we try to be adaptable at that point because she's a 2 to 3 hour napper. And I typically don't like her sleeping later than 4:30, but that's only like an hour and a half. So we let her sleep till 5, and then I didn't put her down until 9. And it was
Mhm.
just, we adapted the evening to make it best for everybody. And yeah, just letting go of the control in all different ways of my life because of having a child is just a huge, huge, huge
Yeah.
learning. And I'm still finding myself wanting to gain control in so many ways, but I think I've definitely have growth since having Eleanor.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, and I try to, like, prepare for that lack of control and the adaptability, right? So, like, instead of trying to control everything, I just prepare for what I could control if something
Yeah.
is needed,
Mhm.
and that's really helped me. Where before I would get, like, so upset if I left the house without, like, something that I forgot.
Yeah.
Well, now my car just has, like, a bunch of crap in it, and so we
Mhm.
have, like, the car shoes, the car giraffe, the car pacifier, so, like, if we
Right.
forget something, we have it in the car. Um,
Mhm.
so things like that are ways that I've helped adapt, and then similar to, like, what you said, if we do end up going down for a nap late, then we stay up later, or,
Mhm.
if we wake up, he was waking up at like 9 o'clock. Like the other day, I had to wake him up.
Wow.
I'm like, what in the world? Like,
Yeah.
and last week we had gone out to dinner or we went somewhere every single night, so we didn't go home till after 8:30. So he just went to bed at 8:30 and then woke up at 8:30 the next day. So
Mhm.
I think that that's a lot better now. But like when we were in the like newer,
Mhm.
like 0 to 6 month stage, it was not that flexible.
Well, it's hard too because you're pumping or nursing during, it's just a different monster also.
Yeah. Well, and too, like we didn't do a lot of and not that I'm saying I would do this with baby number 2, but we didn't do a lot of like contact naps.
We
So I
didn't
feel
either.
like that
Yeah.
also created the space where he doesn't like I can't just hold him and he'll fall asleep,
Same.
you
Yeah.
know?
Mhm.
He needs to be in the car or in the bed. And so like that is like almost like, man, I could have taken some contact naps
Mhm.
and then maybe he would fall asleep on me now. Like
Right. Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm the same way. It's like you don't want your kid to be dependent on that necessarily, but you would like it as an option.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I think that wraps up all of our little lessons from our tiny toddlers or tiny teachers, whatever we want to call it. I think a lot of them are big pieces to things that we have learned and might have lost sight of as we became adults, just operating in this busy life and always trying to achieve the next goal and the next big thing. And um, life is so short that it's almost like you need to like take a step back and pay
Mhm.
attention to these things sometimes. So having kids is good.
Yeah, it does that for you naturally.
Yeah. Yes. Well, let's go into our mom eras. I'm gonna change my mom era. So you go first. So what mom
Okay.
era are you in?
I am just dying of my pelvic pain. Just that like pain in my vagina where it feels like my bone is splitting apart. Like I had this pain in my last pregnancy, but it just feels so much more debilitating this time around. And I talked about it with my midwife last time, and she said a belly band would help. So I'm like considering getting one, but oh man, there are some days where I'm like, I feel like I can't even walk. And I've just been super active lately. Like we've just been doing so much every day, whether it's around the house or outside the house or whatever it is. And it's like killing me. I'm like
Mhm.
so much pain right now. And I still have 10 weeks to go.
I can't even believe. Like I don't. I'm trying to like picture. I never had that pain the way you're
Yeah.
describing it.
I don't even know. When I look it up, I think I think there's like a acronym for it. SPD. So pressure from the weight of the baby and hormone relax and soften your ligaments. So pelvic girdle pain or symphysis pubic dysfunction.
Hmm.
Obviously I can't say these, but
I wonder if
it's
you went to PT though. Like if that would help.
yeah, I was looking at things that you could do and it basically is like avoid carrying and lifting, take smaller steps when walking, walk shorter distance, putting that pillow between. And then PT was another one. So maybe I need to consider doing pregnancy PT.
Yeah, that might be a good one.
Yeah.
Um, there was something I was gonna say off of that. I've been having a lot more round ligament pain.
Yeah.
And it's like that shooting. Like it feels like something's just like stabbing you out of
I
you. Like if
hate
you move
that.
too fast. Like
Uh
I did
huh.
not have that with Axel. Did you
Oh,
have that with
really?
Elmer? Yeah, no.
Mm, I did. I did. Yeah. Hmm.
Like the that's the major thing I'm noticing is a lot more of that round ligament pain and a lot less of like Braxton Hicks. Like I had Braxton Hicks from 20 weeks on with Axel and I haven't had one yet.
Yeah,
So,
that's crazy. It's so
yeah.
crazy how different that changes.
So
Maybe
different.
because baby is a little bit bigger and needs just
Yeah.
growing quicker
Get
and
out of the way.
it's pushing things around.
Yeah. But I am in my preparing mom era. I'm trying to get everything done on my list for Christmas.
Mhm.
I have like we're hosting the next upcoming things. I'm trying to get the baby's room ready. I'm trying to figure out life now that Austin's like home, daycare now that Austin's like home. I'm also prepping to go to Texas next week.
Woohoo.
So it's just gonna be, yeah, a
That's a
lot
lot.
going on.
That's a lot happening.
Yeah. I
A
woke up
lot
this
happening
morning
right
and I
now.
was like, a week from today I'm supposed to go to Texas. I'm like, that's not like I haven't even gotten that far. I haven't even thought about like what
You're
I
like,
need to do.
gotta make it through the holidays first.
Yeah. Yeah. So So that's my life. That's my mom era. But thank you everyone for joining us on this episode of the Mom Era podcast, where we talked about everything that our little ones teach us. We hope this was helpful. A lot of the moments and thing or lessons that we have learned from our toddlers, and if there's any lessons your toddlers have taught you, please share. Follow us at momera_podcast on TikTok and Instagram, or email us at momerapodcast@gmail.com. We'll see you next week or next
Bye
time.
bye. Bye 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 bye.